Welcome into Palmetto Sports Daily on this Teal Tuesday. I've got my teal on. Carmine, you don't have on your orange representing Clemson. I don't know. Seems like a weird sign to start off with, but I've got my teal.
But Tegan,
Coastal Carolina
as a coastal,
Yeah.
as a person who covers coastal, orange, you glad I didn't wear Tigers orange before this big matchup?
I don't know. I feel like it would have been a good juxtaposition on screen as we talk about this matchup coming up. I'm just saying. But anyways, Coastal Carolina and Clemson playing tonight. Carmine, of course, Coastal Carolina playing host in this one. But the Tigers, we talked about it yesterday. They got that series win over Boston College. So they do have some momentum going into this one. I'm kind of curious, as we record this earlier in the day, just kind of your prediction for tonight as the Chants and Tigers face off.
Well, I think it'll be back and forth, Tegan. Just like the first meeting a couple months ago now between Coastal and Clemson when both teams were ranked at the time, 15th ranked Coastal, 24th ranked Clemson. And that was just a back and forth game with Coastal going out to a 3-0 lead. Then the Tigers scored 9 unanswered runs to take a 9-3 lead. And then Coastal scored 8 runs in the final 3 innings to win 11-9. And that was kind of a back-breaking loss for Clemson at a time where they were trying to turn their season around after being swept by Notre Dame. But I think this momentum is slowly building after a series win over a top 20 Boston College team this weekend, their first series win in the ACC in a month, and also just their second conference series win all season, now just 2-6 in conference series this season. They also had just a great offensive performance. It was the second highest scoring first inning in Tigers baseball history, which is incredible when you think about how long Clemson baseball has been playing. They scored double-digit runs in the first inning of their Saturday game against Boston College, which was a huge confidence booster. And then they executed late, which is something that Clemson's been struggling with, to win a close 4-3 game over Boston College on Sunday. Jaron Purify hit a 2-out single in the 8th inning, and that scored the go-ahead run for them to win 4-3. So here's Coach Eric Bakich after finally winning another ACC series over a ranked opponent in Boston College.
Obviously, hard-fought series. That's a great Boston College team. That's easy to envision them hosting a regional with the success they've had this year. So to get a series win, regardless of what's happened in the past, is a big series win, especially with a quality club like that. But given the fact that where we were in our season and needing this one just to get back, just feeling like we're gaining ground in the positives was huge.
And they really need to gain that ground because they're trying, scratching, and clawing for the Tigers to win these last couple series and then make their way into the ACC tournament, have success there, and maybe have an outside chance of making the NCAA tournament. But a win over a top 10 Coastal team would pay huge dividends later tonight. Their only other midweek game is an upstate rivalry with USC Upstate, which matched up Clemson and USC Upstate in last year's NCAA regional in Tigertown. Their 2 conference series are hosting Florida State in the last home series, which is a top 10 matchup again, and then at Virginia Tech to close the conference series and close the regular season. So Tegan, all that to say that it means a lot more for Clemson than it does for Coastal. I hope Coastal doesn't get boastful now that they're Coastal Carolina as the home team against Clemson. But how do you feel about this rematch here? Can Coastal sweep the season series against the Tigers?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chants really are in a good place right now. Definitely what you said, totally agree with about this is a must-win for Clemson. They need it more. Coastal Carolina's in a great spot. They're number 8. They've got 2 more series left on the year. They've got ODU and then Louisiana, and then their other midweek game besides Clemson, another in-state team. It'll be the Citadel. Of course, we'll get to talk to Bronwyn all about that when it comes to that game next week. But I think Coastal Carolina is a really capable team. It's just the question of if they're going to be the type of team we've seen where they tend to perform late in this one and just, keep everybody on edge, biting their nails, and see if this is comeback Coastal Carolina, or if they're going to get out off to that fast start that they've very rarely been able to do this season. So it's a question of which Coastal Carolina team we'll see, but it should be a really good environment tonight, Carmine. Last time I checked before we started recording the show, there are standing room only tickets. It should be absolutely packed in the Palace tonight, and I think it'll be a good mix of teal and orange. Of course, lots of fans of both teams. And then something else I'll throw out as we're talking Coastal Carolina baseball, the Chants in their series against Old Dominion this coming weekend will actually welcome back the 2016 National Championship winning team, which is very exciting. Yes, the 10-year anniversary of that big game, so lots of the players will be back. The legendary coach Gary Gilmore will be back. If any of you are planning on heading out to any of the games this weekend, Friday there will be a meet and greet with the players prior to first pitch, and then on Saturday they will honor the team on the field prior to first pitch. I've been told there's some cool posters and bobbleheads and everything like that to collect, so it should be a really good time. And Bronwyn, I want to get you involved in this, say hello to all the folks on the show. Just kind of curious, your thoughts on this Coastal Carolina Clemson game tonight.
I hate to say it, but I think this is a lose for Clemson. I really do. I mean, they just have not been playing consistent baseball. I almost said softball there. They haven't been playing consistent baseball, and you're facing a giant in Coastal Carolina who has, like you said, I think you said they're ranked number 8, right? So, is there really much to add? I will say Clemson is 23-0 when they hold their opponents to less than 5 runs, okay? So there's a little helpful stat for you. But they are to make or break number 41 RPI. If they win tonight, it could be a big swing for them. Mm-hmm. I think it's a swing for the fences that they're not going to get.
Mm.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Again, it is a 6 o'clock first pitch, so by the time you guys are all watching this, please don't turn this off to watch baseball. Instead, just keep listening to us talk on the other side of the show.
Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. We're talking one of my favorite topics now, and it's hockey, and it's Stingrays hockey. Stingrays getting into the second round of the playoffs in the South Division Finals against heated rival, the Florida Everblades. Florida is the only team that is more successful in the postseason than the Stingrays. This is a long-standing rivalry right now in the league. Okay, Florida, number 2. Rays number 3 in the Eastern Conference. Florida's number 1, South Carolina's number 2. It's going to be exciting this weekend. They start play Friday, and then hockey's back in Charleston next week for games. It's going to be on May 13th and May 15th. I know where I'm going to be for my birthday, and it's going to be right there in North Charleston Coliseum cheering on the Rays. We can't talk about postseason hopes without talking about goalies. 2 of the ECHL's best are South Carolina's and Garen Bjorklund and Seth Isley. Garen Bjorklund with a 93.5% save percentage. That's a brick wall, okay? Seth Isley, 91.9% save percentage. You got Charlie Combs, who's been monumental in playoff victory. I think he scored in, if not every game in the playoffs, almost every game. I'm excited, and we have a little bit of some information from Coach Dave Warsofsky about the game and about their playoff hopes.
Hey, this is my first year coaching. A lot of these guys, first year pros, or haven't been in the playoffs yet. So I think getting that first series and, getting like the first real pressure moments out of the way is huge for us moving forward.
That's a step for sure. They're a great team over there. To be able to get it done against them is pretty rewarding, and we feel good about it.
To say Stingrays fans are excited is an understatement. To say I'm a little nervous about it is also an understatement. Florida is dominant in every aspect of the game on the ice. Carmine, I got to get your insight on this. What do you think about this matchup, and who do you think is going to come out on top?
Well, I just think it's so exciting to keep talking about hockey and having hockey so close to you guys. Unfortunately, our Swamp Rabbits didn't make it this far, despite 2 years in a row of me coaching up the mascot Stomper to win Mascot of the Year. Great mascot for the Florida Everblades. Outstanding play on words. We talked about that off camera, although I don't want to give them too much credit since they are the enemy team. But Bronwyn, I think the Stingrays have a great chance. They built that momentum. They clearly have a great support base. What has it been like for you to follow along with this team's journey and feel the nerves as well, like you said?
It's been the best. I never imagined getting to cover hockey this early in my career, and so to get to cover not only hockey but good hockey it's fabulous. And the double overtime loss the other night, I was in the arena for that. It was packed. I don't know if it was a sold-out crowd, but it felt like one. Oh, it was unbelievable. I can't wait to see, especially with this rivalry. I think it's going to be even more insane next week when they come back to North Charleston. I'm just so excited about it. I really am. All right, we're going to take a little break, but come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back on Palmetto Sports.
Welcome back in to Palmetto Sports Daily, where we've had some periods, some exclamation marks, also some question marks, guys. And one of those big questions is, how are the 9 Clemson football draftees going to perform in the NFL? Clemson tying an all-time program record with 9 players picked in the 7-round NFL draft, and in fact, it was even more impressive than that because they were all selected in the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft. So we had the discussion when the draft happened, what happened to the Clemson football season this year with so many draftees, almost double-digit numbers, and then they turned out their worst season in 15 years with just that 7-6 record, ending with a loss to Penn State in New York City in the Pinstripe Bowl, where we were at Yankee Stadium. It was awesome. We were also at 2 NFL draft parties for 2 Clemson Tigers. That was Peter Woods in Atlanta, the defensive tackle who was picked 29th overall by the Kansas City Chiefs, and then TJ Parker in Piedmont, right here in the upstate in the Clemson area, who was picked 35th overall, the edge rusher to the Buffalo Bills in Tegan's neck of the woods. Somewhat close to Syracuse, where she proudly represents the orange, but I was proudly representing the orange of the Clemson Tigers. I sat on the couch where TJ Parker was just selected with 2 defensive line coaches, Chris Rumpf and Nick Eason, to talk about the moment for their guys and what they need to do to succeed again at the next level.
We were there at the white party with the red carpet for Peter Woods with some big jewels. I had to hide my own watch behind my back because I was so embarrassed by the ice that was there. But what is the celebration like, Coach, to see 2 of your defensive linemen go here in the first 2 rounds?
It's just all God. I'm just so very proud of them and so happy for them and their families. But, you know, those guys earned this moment. You know, they put in the hard work their entire lives for this moment, and they deserved it.
They definitely did. And Coach Chris Rumpf, defensive ends coach, we're talking about one of your guys getting drafted, TJ Parker. What was it like for you to witness the moment, and then the hush came over, he took the call and put on the hat, and everybody went crazy?
You know, I was just excited for him, and I know the work that he put in up to this point. All his things come together for him to get drafted and have his family, his wife, his mom, dad, brother, coaches, and loved ones around him to celebrate that moment with him. I was happy for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do in the league.
TJ was telling me they got a dog on the way going to the Buffalo Bills. What makes him a dog, or the qualities that make him such a great draft pick to be selected so highly in the 2nd round there?
I think this is work ethic. You know, the man spends a lot of time in the film. He's taking care of his body. He's working out. He's studying the game. He's physical. He understands football, and he loves football. And he plays with a toughness, and he plays with an edge.
He definitely does, just like his position, edge rusher, and following in similar footsteps to yourself, Clemson star, weight room warrior yourself, a weight room All-American, and then a successful NFL career. your parting wisdom, your final advice to them as they take a similar step to the next level that you took?
Just don't get outworked. And don't get outworked and never get comfortable. And because comfort is the enemy of hard work. And as long as they never get comfortable in that business, continue to compete and really let their daily decisions and habits reflect that competition and reflect their love of the game, man, they'll be fine because they've been blessed with God-given talent. And, man, just be true to themselves. That's my advice to them.
Well, thank you so much for letting us enjoy and the gifts that you guys have given them and the gifts that they received by being selected in the NFL draft. For Nick Eason and Chris Rumpf, I'm Carmine Jamea for Palmetto Sports.
What a cool experience for us to be the only local TV station or any TV station at both TJ Parker and Peter Woods draft parties. Just a cool thing, and to share those videos with the family and the team. It was really our pleasure to be there. So, guys, right after that, Avion Terrell, the Clemson cornerback, was selected to the Atlanta Falcons, where he united with his brother, A.J. Terrell, another Atlanta Falcons defensive back. So same position, same family, obviously, same team. Incredible story there. And then we also had the quarterback, Cade Klubnik, selected in the 4th round to the New York Jets. Now, I looked on ESPN. He's currently the 3rd quarterback on their depth chart behind Geno Smith and one other guy who, honestly, I really haven't heard of, Brady Cook from Missouri. He's got 2 touchdowns thrown and 7 interceptions in 5 games played. Then it's Cade Klubnik listed 3rd on the depth chart. Of course, they got to go through camp, preseason, and all that. But the guy who's in front of Cade Klubnik right now is not really a huge formidable threat based on what he's done so far. Now, Geno Smith, of course, is a veteran. He doesn't blow you off the page. He's probably below average as far as an NFL quarterback. So Cade Klubnik has a really good chance to get in there. And all it takes, as you guys know, in the NFL is one injury. We've seen that many times, including Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. That led to a pretty good career. But as far as Cade, 3 years as a starter here at Clemson, top 5 in so many quarterbacking categories. Now, yes, he was a Heisman Trophy hopeful coming into this season, fell short of that. He was a preseason conference player of the year, fell short of that, and not a great season this year. But he is a 2-time conference champ. He has a college football playoff berth that he led Clemson to a couple seasons ago. So I think he could be, if not a great long-term backup in the NFL, I think if he gets a shot and he's in the right offense that takes shots down the field, takes risks, and utilizes his talents a little bit better than what Garrett Riley did in this offense, which put a lot on Cade's shoulders, especially this season. Not a fantastic running game to balance off of. Never really got a great rhythm. Bronwyn, I think Cade could really get in there early and show some signs. I'm not sure what you think.
Well, myself and NFL quarterbacks have a difficult relationship because there are so many that, i.e. Joe Burrow, right? Looking at you're going into the NFL, you look so hopeful. Now, part of this is also his offensive line, which has been a struggle for many years. But I think it's so difficult to translate college play to NFL quarterback success. There's a saying that you either win with a quarterback, in spite of a quarterback, or because of a quarterback. I don't really know where Cade Klubnik falls in that area, especially as he's, just now getting into the NFL. But I think it'll be interesting. I never want to count a guy out. I think I love the underdog always. I think we all do. Look at Tom Brady, picked in very, very late in the draft, and then look at that incredible career he had. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I mean, like I said, NFL quarterbacks and I just have a difficult relationship. I can never pick them very well. It seems like the ones I do really like, they tend to fail. So, Tegan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily look at him as an underdog with the Jets. I actually think it's a really good landing spot for him just based off of the depth chart. And, yes, his senior year did not go the way that he wanted it to, but I do think maybe that was just a one-off. I think based off of what we saw in the rest of his career at Clemson, I just think this is a good spot for him to prove himself. I also want to throw back to TJ Parker for a second in the Buffalo Bills because, yes, Carmine, that is my team about 2.5 hours from Syracuse. I think TJ PJ is going to a fantastic team. I'm not just saying that because of my bias, but I really do think that fan base just loves that team so much. There's a brand new stadium there this year. They've got a new coach with Joe Brady, new head coach. He was the OC last season. So I think that they really need some help on the defense there in Buffalo. It's been my biggest complaint for the past 3 years. I really hope that he can help address that issue. We're going to take a quick break here on Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Palmetto Sports Daily. It is finally the week. We are getting ready to tee off in the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic. That starts on Thursday. However, prior to that, on Wednesday, we do have the annual Celebrity Pro-Am that started last year. Kurt Russell will be there. John McEnroe, of course, one of my favorite tennis players. His iconic "you cannot be serious" moment with the ref is one of my favorite videos to watch over and over again. If you've never seen it, highly recommend. So that tees off early tomorrow. The list of celebrities goes on and on. Nick Swisher, the former World Series champion with the Yankees, Michael Pena from Ant-Man, a whole bunch of people. But Carmine, I know we have some more golf coming up as well.
That is true, Tegan, because we have the Truist Championship in Charlotte. We got some local guys competing, a couple Clemson All-Americans, one of them Jacob Bridgman, who just got his first PGA Tour win earlier this season at Tiger Woods' tournament, the Genesis Invitational. That was a cool $4 million for him, and that set him up top 5 on the money list for this year in the PGA Tour, ahead of Rory McIlroy, the back-to-back Masters champ, who's also trying to win another Truist Championship. I believe he has 4 of these to his name. Another champ is Lucas Glover, who won this tournament when it was the Wells Fargo. He's a Clemson All-American as well, of course, from Greenville. He's got 6 PGA Tour wins, including the U.S. Open and this very tournament. And then Andrew Novak, looking for his first solo PGA Tour win. He got a win with a partner 2 seasons ago, still looking for his first solo win, and he is a former SoCon Player of the Year at Wofford. So great local ties. We'll be covering that all week long for you, just like we'll be back here on Palmetto Sports Daily to see all of your smiling sports faces tomorrow.